Hello, and welcome to Totally Schway, a podcast about the DCAU and whatever the hell else I want it to be about. Today I'm joined by Luke,
Hello, I'm here as per usual.
and my name is Mary.
Yes, it is. It is. I don't know why that
It's
confused me
so
so.
like
Yeah.
because when people actually still call me Mary, even though I've been over here for the better part of 20 years, I still feel really weird when I hear people not say like the rest of my name. I've said that before, I think, but yeah. So, how are you today?
Oh, yeah.
Did you upgrade your storage unit yet?
No, I need to
It's
do it.
Doc that said that.
Doc did make
I
it.
love
Yeah,
Doc so
in the
much.
last episode of Totally Schway Flipside, he made a jokey reference thing, saying that oh, you have a storage unit. You never mention it, even though I mention it all the time in comics channel videos. So, actually, can I share the little bit of news about the comics channel?
If you want.
Yeah, because I know you said you want to go straight into the topic, but we do usually talk about newsy things at the start. That's okay.
If you want, that's fine.
Okay, thank you, thank you. So I made a couple of little changes with the comics channel. So, long story short, YouTube has made a big change to the way that their algorithm works. In that they've heard the complaints about like AI slop, and they now favor videos that have got signs of human or humanity in them. So basically, that means I'm going to have to film some face cam footage to go at the start, maybe the middle, and at the end of each video.
Ooh.
So that's one of the changes. I haven't done this yet. I don't think I've done this yet for any of the videos. That might have changed by the time this goes out. I've actually bought a green screen so that it's not just filming our office space, which is it's not really that exciting.
Not happening. It's not happening.
Well, I'll still be filming in here, but with a green screen anyway.
Yeah.
I'm going to try it out. If that doesn't work, and you've just seen me with just like a regular backdrop, then you'll know it's because the green screen didn't work very well. But anyway, and as part of this, so I often get comments from people saying, "Oh, you should do a video about this old comic." And the problem is, if I do videos about content that is not current, people don't watch it. Like the majority of the subscribers don't watch it. Even if I do current content that is not part of the absolute line, like Bleeding Hearts, for instance, most people don't watch it. And then that signals YouTube's algorithm that if the subscribers aren't interested in this video, they probably won't be interested in the next one. And then I have to try and claw back some performance. And when the channel is as small as my comics channel, you can't really afford to take any viewers for granted. So I do want to meet these requirements for for that part of the audience that wants this kind of content. But what I've decided to do is I will make those videos, but they're going to be members only. And memberships on the comics channel cost $1.99 per month. And I came up with a fun name for it because it's mostly focusing on older comics. We're going to be called the Back Issue Brigade. And if you want to vote on which of the first older comics I talk about, well, you can become a member and pick which one of four options. The four options are Paul Dini's autobiographical comic, One Dark Night, Batman the Long Halloween, Marvel's first Ultimates line, so the one by Mark Miller and Brian Hitch, and a video I kind of talked a little bit about in my comments community section about this strange phenomena where late 50s and early 60s Batman writers pinched ideas and concepts from 50s Black Hawk comics. And the examples I have are the Black Hawks faced a villain called Catman who ran into fire to escape from them because he had 9 lives. And there was an issue of Detective Comics literally 5 years later, something like that, where it's exactly the same image, except it's just been flipped. So rather than running to the right, the Batman villain Catman is running to the left into the flames. They just pinched the idea. And also, the other one was the Black Hawks had a villain called Mr. Freeze 2 years before he debuted in the Batman comics as Mr. Zero, and then they later renamed him Mr. Freeze. So I want to talk about that in one of these videos. If any of those sound particularly exciting to you and you really want to take part, join that channel and yeah, cast your vote, and we'll watch the video I make. I'm aiming to do one a month. I think that's plausible. Who knows, if I can knock them out quicker, I will do them quicker. But these videos are going to stay members only, and you're going to build up a nice library of videos over time that hopefully appeal to the more hardcore people. And I priced memberships at the low price of $1.99, because,
The economy at the
well,
moment.
yeah. I mean, so give you some behind the scenes information. YouTube are always bloody going on at me about, oh, you need to add more tiers to your membership. Add another tier, charge $5.99 for the highest tier, and I don't want to do that. It feels a bit skeezy, to be honest. I'd rather, look, okay, I've got to charge something, fine, but $1.99. What can you buy for $1.99 these days in this day and age? You can't even get a cup of coffee for $1.99.
I don't think you can actually get an Arizona tea, which used to only be 99 cents. I don't think, with taxes and everything, I don't think you can get an Arizona tea for 1.99.
Someone that lives in the States correct us if we're wrong, but basically it's the cost of one soft drink per month, and you'll get access to these videos. And I completely understand if you don't want to do that, don't do it. Absolutely do not do it. You do not have to. I'll get by fine. But yeah, that's the change that's coming.
Shall we get to my favorite things?
Yeah, she's just shooing me along, telling me she's had enough of me.
I'll
Fine.
get the crook out. Is that what it's
Yeah,
called?
the shepherd crook. Pull him off the stage.
Okay, so I have written out a little, if you will, a guideline for what I want to talk about. So, plot, hero, villain, episode, series.
Okay, so how does the plot differ from episode?
It's none of your business.
Well, the thing is, there are plot is
Mhm.
exclusively on the writing, whereas an episode has more elements
Yeah.
to it.
I have written.
I'm trying to coax you into saying that.
Oh, anyways, I have everything written down. It's small, but
Yeah.
yeah. So, what do you want to ask me first?
Well, let's do it in the order that you read them out. So, your favourite plot. Mary, tell us what your favourite DC Animated Universe plot is and why.
Ace the Dog's origin story.
That's not what you've written down there.
I know, because I just realized that that's my favorite episode, and that's my favorite plot, because the plot of the Ace the Dog origin story
Okay.
goes more than just one episode, because it shows the incredible relationship between Ace the dog and Bruce
And Terry.
and Terry. Um, yeah,
So, what is it that you particularly like about Ace's origin story?
it's believable, and I think anyone who has had a little critter can understand the love there, and how that dog or cat or chicken in some places, um it kind of molds how your love is. Sometimes it can change your love, because some people that say, oh my god, I absolutely hate dogs, whatever, and some people that do get dogs end up just falling in love with them, and it's because these little critters have personality,
Yeah.
despite what some people say. And I know, for me especially, I've had um one, well, not just one, I've had a few different soul critters in my time, but one in particular, my cat Isis, it's the love I had for that cat and that cat had for me was so pure, and it wasn't straight away. I mean, I loved her straight away, but
Yeah.
I had to gain her trust.
Yeah, it took a long time to win her over.
But we did.
Yeah.
And it was one of the best feelings in my life whenever I heard her purr for the first time. It completely changed my life, because I helped her get to that place. But she also helped me get through one of the worst times in my life. Um, when I lost a loved one,
Yeah.
and you can't force that. That's something that is very pure, and I think the people who wrote this plot um understood what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
Understood the assignment.
And what is the plot of Ace's backstory?
Okay, so you have Bruce who has um kind of collected his orphans,
Hmm.
if you will. That's not a bad thing, by the way, and help them become who they are. And this is just one of the orphans that he helped.
Yeah.
And it really shows that love comes in many forms, and so does heart. And the teachings that love does to someone, that love gives to someone, is spectacular, even if that person doesn't take up much space.
Mm.
And it continues the plot of Bruce having his hero complex outside of the costume.
Hmm. So what was Ace's story?
So Ace came from a basically a dogfighting kennel,
Hmm.
and it makes me sad.
I can describe it if
Yes,
you would like to
it
avoid getting
makes
too
me
teary.
sad.
So from birth, as a puppy, Ace was taken from the pound, I guess, which is where the stray animals are taken.
Hmm.
As a puppy, he had been identified as a potential candidate for a fighting ring because he had big paws, even as a little tyke.
Yeah,
And the guy who worked at the pound basically sold him to someone who ran an underground animal fighting ring. And the man beat and trained Ace to becoming aggressive,
yeah,
and made him fight in underground fighting rings. Now, when the police raided the ring, Ace escaped and became a stray. And while he was wandering the streets, he wandered through Crime Alley, where Bruce Wayne was trying to pay respects to his parents' memory, as he does every year. But at this point, he's in his 70s, old and decrepit and on his own. And a Joker tries to attack him, to mug him, which wouldn't succeed anyway because he may be 70 and walking with a limp, but he's still Batman. He would paralyze that man with a hard stare. But Ace the dog doesn't know that, and Ace pounced on the Joker and tried to fight him off, and the Joker hit him with I think it was a metal bar and wounded him. And Batman did what Batman does. But he saw the dog laying there passed out in the street, very clearly um astray and hurt, and he decided to pick the dog up and take it home and look after it. And as you said, it mirrors what he has done his whole life with
hmm,
people like Dick Grayson, Tim Drake, even. And this is the thing: this is a retcon, obviously, but there was the Royal Flush Gang member Ace, who was a little girl with impossible powers,
hmm,
whose powers were ultimately going to kill her. But if she didn't stop what she was doing, then the psychic backlash would have killed thousands around her. Now, Amanda Waller wanted Batman to kill her because Amanda Waller didn't believe that Ace was capable of controlling herself. Wouldn't want to.
yeah,
She'd been wronged her whole life. She's lashing out at everyone. She wants everyone dead. But Batman knew that wasn't the case, and he knew that he could just talk to her, and everything would be all right.
yeah.
And okay, he couldn't save her, but he sat with her and he comforted her while she died.
But maybe that was his way of saving
Well,
her.
yes, yeah. That's. I had a comment on my video actually with someone saying he may not have saved her, but he saved her,
Yeah,
and I was like,
that's
yeah,
true.
that's true.
And the reason why the Ace the Dog plot is so great is because it is actually the plot through the entire DCAU, is that heroes save, but sometimes heroes come in different forms
Yeah.
and in different situations, and it's not always someone in a costume.
Hmm. Yep. And one of the things I particularly like about Ace the dog is, he's fiercely loyal of Bruce Wayne,
Hmm.
or to Bruce Wayne, and he is initially skeptical of Terry, but they grow to have a strong
Yeah.
relationship by the end. Where Ace loves Terry just as much as he loves Bruce.
Yeah.
Maybe not quite as much, but close enough.
Yeah.
And it's very heartfelt and touching.
Yeah, and it's so real because things like that happen in real life, and it sucks because people will hurt dogs, cats, animals because of their insecurities and because they think that it's okay when
Yeah,
it's not. Um, it's gross. So as a person who loves animals, um, I just hate the idea of overbreeding and dog fighting and chicken fighting and stuff like that as well.
yeah,
It just I can't imagine how broken the animals get, and they even die.
yeah. They do. They do, and they don't fight because they're aggressive. They fight because they're scared.
They don't have anything else. I've met so many pit bulls in my time that have been like the sweetest, most absolutely angelic creatures ever. And they're always so sweet. But I've also met one or two that have been incredibly cruel and mean and violent. But the difference between those is not the dog itself. It's how the dog was raised. It's
Yeah,
how the dog was handled. I do not handle the pets that I have. I do not handle them. They will have a personality. I want that personality to come out, but I always treat them with respect. And that is something that with this whole plot is that respect goes such a long way. Love goes such a long way. Appreciation goes such a long way. And it doesn't just stop because you're, walking on two legs and have, you know, I don't know, like go to a hair salon or whatever.
hmm
It doesn't just stop there. Um, yeah,
yeah.
and that's why it's my favorite plot. Now I'll talk about my favorite episode,
Do it.
which is Hereafter.
Which part though? Part one, part two, or just the thing as a whole?
The thing as a whole, because I see that in my eyes, that's one episode.
Yeah,
I
I
know it's two
understand.
parts, but it's one episode. I don't know. It's just again, I think there's a realistic thing behind the unrealistic things. It's seeing, you want to do the plot line for that one?
Yeah, so Hereafter essentially is the DC animated universe's version of the Death of Superman storyline. Doomsday's not involved. Um, the essentially it has the formation of the Superman Revenge Squad, which consists of Metallo, Livewire, Calibac, Weather Wizard, and Toyman. Have I forgotten anyone? Don't think so. And they go on a rampage, and the plan is that with their combined might, they will defeat Superman. The Justice League turns up and proves otherwise. But Toyman has this big mech. It looks like a transformer, basically. It's a big robot machine that he's controlling that's got a laser cannon that seems to incinerate things. And he tries to incinerate Batman and Wonder Woman, and Superman dives in front of them. Oh, I'm getting a little teary talking about it. Oh, what's happening? It's a teary episode,
Yeah.
Mary.
So,
And he is seemingly
yeah.
killed, and the world is in mourning. The first part ends with the revelation that actually it's not a disintegrator gun like Toyman thought it was. It actually propels people thousands of years into the future. And Superman is there, and he has to try and figure out a way back. And he finds that the Earth has been essentially ravaged. There's no humans left apart from Vandal Savage, the
Yeah.
immortal caveman, who wants to befriend Superman. And he is the one that did this to the world, and he is remorseful and regretful. And he wants to help Superman go back in time and stop him from doing this.
Hmm.
And it has such a beautiful ending
Yeah.
where Superman is sent back to the present day, and he's everyone's delighted to see him. He goes, yeah, this is great, but first of all, we've got to go and stop Vandal Savage. He's about to do something really stupid.
Mm.
And then it cuts to Vandal Savage in the future, sat there amongst the devastation. And slowly the world starts to change. People start to appear, the
Mhm.
buildings start to come back. And he's just got this shocked look of joy in his face. And he goes, "Oh, thank you, my friend," as he fades away from existence. And it's such a beautifully sad but also uplifting end for Savage. Savage is this immortal caveman who's been around for thousands of years by this point, been obsessed with conquest, and he finally got what he wanted, and he realized that it was the worst thing he could ever have done. And he's just so satisfied with oblivion. It hits me right in the heart every time.
So the reasons I love this is, well, obviously the storyline is amazing. It's very it doesn't just show Superman's journey, it shows every character's journey in this and how one thing can change everything.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be the biggest thing ever, although this one was quite a big thing.
Hmm.
Um, it showed Superman's, singular story,
Yeah.
and the fact that what Savage wanted in the end was what Savage didn't want in the end, because he wanted to be able to control things and be this all powerful, all seeing person. But in the end, he got rid of everything
Hmm.
that he could rule.
Yeah.
And now he is there with just a bunch of bugs.
Yep.
Um, and he realizes that that was not what, although it was what he wanted before, it was something that he hated. The
Yes.
lonesomeness was just too much.
Yes. And I know this is why you love this episode, but there's another thing I really like about it.
The Lobo bit.
Lobo comes back.
Yeah.
And do you know what I really like about it? He very clearly does respect Superman in his own way,
Mhm.
because he's only come back because he heard Superman was dead.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, we're going to honor Superman's memory by having me join the Justice League, and I'm the only person that can
Yeah.
take his place.
It's very unexpected if
Yeah.
people don't know, like if this was somebody's first time watching anything from the DCAU, you might not know that Superman has helped Lobo and has, whatever, and they've gained each other's respect in some form or
Yeah. To
fashion.
a certain extent, yeah.
And Lobo actually respects Looperman, Superman, because he knows that some of the stuff that he has done, Lobo has done in the past, has been, he can't come back from that.
Yeah.
Whereas Superman is helping people
Mhm.
on this planet that he's not from,
Mhm.
just the way he helps everyone in whatever universe he's in, because that's the right thing to do. And
Yeah.
the helping is better than the harming.
Yeah.
And he's not doing it for any other reason other than it feels good.
Yeah, and there's a little detail that I love, so that everyone's wearing these black armbands at a memorial, memorializing Superman.
Hmm.
That's what I was trying to say. And Lobo takes one and he just wears it as a headband.
Hmm.
But it's still a tribute to Superman, but he's just gone with a more like rock and roll version of it. I really like that.
Yeah. And it's seeing the sadness in the rest of the Justice League and the world,
Yeah,
in this world, and um
it's
it's alarming how um real that is in an unrealistic superhero stuff.
yeah, and there's a really nice shot at the near the end of the first episode where, okay, they've begrudgingly allowed Lobo to come along with them, and they were really struggling in the fight against the villains that have escaped now that Superman's gone.
Hmm.
And Lobo is the one that brings everything under control. He
Yeah.
beats Calabac into submission. And, he says to them, with Lobo around, the Justice League's going to be number one. And no one disagrees. They're like,
Hmm.
oh, damn it. We really needed Superman, and now we've got to put up with Lobo.
Yeah.
Lobo's the only one that can fill the void. Oh, and they all bow their heads in despair almost.
Yeah. But it shows that the Justice League understands that sometimes it might not be something they want that actually helps put the pieces back together.
Yeah.
Again, one of these these episodes were just beautiful because you have so many different like sub stories and whatnot, but it's all going back to this one thing. And in a world, in the world that we live in right now, obviously we don't have um the machines and the metahumans and stuff that I'm aware of, um in all of this, but it's such it shows you that one person's want in this world could destroy it. And we are seeing that in like politics and the economy and everything at the moment. We are seeing how absolutely close we are to Vandal Savage's future.
Mm.
But yeah, that's one of obviously if you guys you guys know I have a video on my channel about this already. That's just because I love it so much. So we've done episode plot
Why don't you tell us about your favorite villain?
Catwoman.
Catwoman.
Yeah,
Okay, that's interesting.
because I see her as a hero and a villain in a way.
Yeah, in some ways, yes.
But yeah, I just think that she doesn't take shit from people, she's a badass, but you also see the care and concern that she has not only for other people but for people like ISIS, like
Oh,
the
yeah.
people the cat ISIS and stuff like that. And also just her relationships with like Robin and Batman and yeah, it's great. It is, again, as you can see from the stuff that I like things that have uh like bits and pieces of the real world in it.
Yeah, yeah.
And Catwoman has just always been one of my favorites.
Would you say that you identified with the early stories where she was more of an animal rights activist?
I guess.
Because you talked a lot about your empathy for
Mhm.
Ace and
Yeah.
suffering, and Catwoman obviously feels similarly about other animals.
Yeah, I think obviously I don't know if it's obvious. I don't like animal testing. I don't like when people are mean to animals. I believe that we can live in a world where we're not cruel to animals, and we've done it before. We could do it again. Um, and I believe part of that is animals have never hurt me the way that some humans have. And as someone who was completely misunderstood as a human being growing up and as an adult, I've always had, my little critters around, like my rabbits, for example, when I was young, the rabbits my grandpa got me. I just felt when I was in their little like area of the backyard with them, I could just sit there and they would just like go over my legs or, you know, um just go around me because they knew that I was going to respect them and I was going to, that I loved them and all of that. And with my duck, for example, my duck did not like many people at all. But because I didn't go around trying to like pick up the duck or chase her or whatnot, unless she wanted a chase, because then I would do it with the water hose. I wouldn't actually like physically chase her, but she liked like the sprinkler and the water hose. And that was awesome. But she did not care for most people.
No.
And then I talk about Isis quite a bit, my cat that passed away in 2019. Um, that cat will never leave my mind or my heart because I went through so much in such a short amount of time with her that yeah. And when she passed away, I literally lost my best friend. And um you don't people like myself, we don't really have a strong understanding of anyone else because we don't really understand ourselves. And for that cat to actually choose me in a way after we adopted her. Um, whereas a lot of cats choose Luke, which is fine because he is just he's got that aura about him that I don't know most animals that I've seen around Luke just even if he doesn't really care for them or has just met them, they love him. But with Isis, she chose me, and I think she did because I needed it. Um, and I felt alone. And she connected to me in a way that she knew when I was upset. She knew when I was coming home that I just wanted to see her. And yeah, it's beautiful. And I think um Catwoman finds that with Isis, and she doesn't think of it as a weird thing because it's never a weird thing with Catwoman. It's not something that she doesn't care what people think about her friendships with animals or whatever. She doesn't care. She's like, yeah, and what's the problem with me, loving my cats and
Yeah.
all of this other stuff.
And it even applies not just to like domesticated animals, but do you
Hmm.
remember in Cult of the Cat where they've got this genetically modified
Yeah,
saber-tooth cat down
yeah,
in their basement, and Catwoman's like jumps in front of it when it's going to kill Batman, goes, "No, stop it!" And it does stop it, and it licks her
yeah,
face, and she gives it a big old hug and a kiss.
yeah. And that definitely reminds me of Isis because
Yeah,
Isis was a bit of a
she could be very mean.
yeah, but she wasn't mean to me
She could be sometimes. You'd just be walking past her, and she'd slap you.
just
No,
because she was slapping my butt.
yeah, but she seemed like she was annoyed for some reason
Because
because you
I,
dared to go near
yeah,
her.
yeah. But I felt that I knew like it was just her being like playful and stuff for the most part.
Yeah,
Or she wanted
yeah,
something.
you could tell when she was being playful,
Hmm.
and when she was annoyed, and most of the time she was annoyed.
Yeah, but that's just because of how she um wasn't taken care of before.
Oh no, she had been. We'd rescued her, and she'd been living straight for a while.
Yeah, and the vet that I went to when I first took Isis to the vet here in our town, um, looked at her ears, and were you there when he said it?
No,
He said that it looked because she had little scars on her ear. It looked like somebody had tried to pierce her ears.
mm. Could have been bitten though, maybe.
Yeah, but he was like, it's in the same exact spot on both sides. Because I was like, no, 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 she's probably just been bitten. And he was like, no, you have to look. And he did, it wasn't a measuring thing. It was like a little piece of paper. He was like, yeah, they're the same. It was horrible. But yeah, I totally love Catwoman.
Mhm.
She can be a villain, but most of the time she's a hero in her own right.
Good. So, continuing the theme, why don't you tell us why your favorite hero is Buona Beast? It's not Buona Beast. Who is your favorite hero?
Batman.
Of course he is.
I love Batman because I wish. I think I've always thought this too, even when I was a child. It's like Batman is this like uber rich guy that obviously spends money, but it's like he spends his money, most of his money on things that help other people. But also the fact that he can point out in a crowd the person that isn't getting enough. And I say that in more ways than one, whether that's food, love, um, or just appreciation. He can hone in on that. That is his superpower. That's one of his superpowers. Um, it's not just his pocketbook, but he also takes in people that have been thrown away or that have had experiences like his own experiences, and he doesn't. Although he has tough love, it's worth it in the end.
Hmm.
And it's not coming out of a place of he has to do this. It's the fact that he believes this is his role.
It's what he believes is right.
Yeah, and it's something that he likes or loves doing. And um also Batman doesn't have like metahuman powers and stuff like that. He is a human that also makes mistakes. and is not as physically strong as, Wonder Woman, for example, but is strong in other ways. Like he is great at puzzles, not just like jigsaw puzzles, but like puzzles in general. Like, so this person is here, but he can tell you, because obviously he's a detective, how that person got there.
Yeah.
And it's not just because of his money either.
No.
It's a skill that um he was born with, that he uses for good rather than to continue building his pocket.
Yeah, and what is it Amanda Waller says in Justice League Unlimited epilogue? She says, Batman has a huge intellect, but he's got an equally huge heart.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
those are things that you either have or you don't. It's
Yeah.
not something that can be taught.
Yeah. And yeah, that's why I talk a lot about Batman and how I think he's just like cool, but it's also, again, getting that realism in it as
Hmm.
well. I wish more billionaires were like Batman rather than complaining because they are being taxed and on, 200 billion pounds or 200 billion dollars, and it's going to be something like 5% of uh of owning something, and
Well,
then
yeah,
that is nothing to them, especially
yeah.
when their interest is probably even more than that. So at the end of the day, they wouldn't actually be losing that much money.
No, they wouldn't
In
at
the
all.
grand scheme of things, they don't need $200 billion.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. And sorry to go on a tangent here, as I as I always tend to, but I remember Elon Musk saying, how much tax he had paid. I think he said something along the lines of, I've paid $1.5 billion in tax this year. And to you and I, that's a load of money. That's more money than we'll earn in our lifetime, and that's a ton of money. It's true, but it is a fraction of his wealth. And if you and I are paying minimum 20% on everything we earn, why is he not paying 20% on what he earns?
Two different countries if you're someone like me.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Some of my income, I'm paying the top rate of tax on some of that, and that's.
Which,
I
by the
mean,
way, I
I,
don't hate rich people, by the way,
no,
because there are people that are genuinely great with money and are quite wealthy,
I,
but a lot of those good people you don't hear about because they're not, dodging taxes and some.
yeah, and all really he should be asked to do is pay the fair rate of tax. He might say that 1.5 billion or whatever it was out of 500 billion is fair. Um, but when I've got to pay 40% on my income, I don't think it's fair at all. Not in the slightest.
Hmm.
Anyway,
So that's,
Batman pays his taxes. Let's put it that way, and that's also one of the reasons why he makes so much money.
yeah,
You heard it here
yeah,
first. So sorry, I've had a big tangent there. Why don't we go on to your? Is this your last one? Your favorite series in the DC animated
yeah.
universe? Okay, tell us why it is the Zeta Project.
My favorite series is not the Zeta Project.
What's wrong with it? It's by Bob
I know.
Goodman.
My favorite series is Justice League.
Justice League. So not Justice League Unlimited, Justice League on its own.
Right.
That's very interesting. Um, Go ahead.
I don't know like the exact reason. It's just the one that I go back to more often than um JLU, because I know we get to meet these some of these heroes for the first time, and even though you have um metahumans, you have people that wear rings that can do anything that they think of, and a Martian, you still have like a group of pals. Not just that, not just a group of pals, a family, a league that is protecting the world and sometimes other worlds.
Do you think it benefits from being a series of two-part stories versus Justice League Unlimited's kind of sequential? storytelling where, okay, you could watch the individual episodes in isolation and that would mostly be fine. But to get the most out of it, you needed to watch every episode in a row and keep track of everything that was going on.
I love the keeping track of everything because it adds to it for me and it gives, um, I don't know, it's a better concept to me.
There are some excellent Justice League episodes, particularly in the second season. I prefer the second season to the first one, but things like, Hereafter,
Hmm.
um, A Better World with the Justice Lords, even Legends, that was in the first season with the Justice Guild. I really like that one. That's another sad one.
Hmm.
It's almost like I just like sad things.
But yeah, I like Justice League because I like it. I don't have a ton to say about it, because I think watching it kind of says it all.
Do you like Starcrossed? The three-parter with the Thanagarians and that ends up with Hawkgirl leaving.
I do, but it's not. I see without it, it would change the dynamics of the show for me.
Mm-hmm.
But with it, it's just a little bit I don't know. I just do not think people like I think we should have loved Hot Girl so much more than we. I mean, I love Hot Girl,
She's
but
generally well liked, even though she's a traitor.
yeah, I just the plot was just so, and I think that's one of the reasons I like it is because it was so like I wasn't expecting that.
Mm-hmm. So you were taken by surprise when Hawkgirl was revealed to be a spy.
Yeah, the first time, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I did not like Hawkman in this or what. Yeah,
Which one? The Thanagarian Hawkman or
the
Carter Hall? The
Carter Hall.
Oh, okay. Did
Yeah,
not like
or
that.
but well, I didn't care for both of them, but
No.
I see how without those characters, it would be a different show to me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and that's something that I like is the fact there's things that I don't like about it, but even though I don't like those things, I still see the reason they were there,
Mm-hmm.
and that's that.
Can we close this out with me really quickly giving like 2-word answers to some of my favorites, or do you want to keep that as a mystery?
This we could do that in September. No, we could do that.
All right.
I'll ask you.
Okay.
You have 5 words or less to do
Okay.
this. Plot.
The Cadmus arc.
Okay. Hero.
Batman.
Villain.
Two-Face.
Episode.
Two-Face Part 1.
Series.
Batman, the animated series. There we go.
There you go.
We're done.
I
All
think,
that's left to say now is what we're talking about next time,
yeah.
which is, do you remember?
No?
I think what with the Supergirl movie coming out in this month,
Way.
in the coming month, and we're going to have 2 episodes coming out in the month of June, we may as well talk about some relevant characters from that film. So up first, we already mentioned him a little bit today, but we're going to talk about him some more.
Wow.
Yeah, we're going to do an episode about Lobo. I know
I might even do a makeup look.
you might. Oh, that would be fun.
I'm not going to do it on film. I'll just have you take a picture of it.
Oh, you should do it on film.
No.
You get some red contact lenses as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm liking this idea.
We'll see.
We'll see.
It might be another one of my ideas that never happens. Thank you, HD.
All right. So thanks for listening, everyone. Join us next time when we talk about Lobo and why I think he's super cool.
I love you guys so much, and I am gonna go have cake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.